Prince in the NCAA Tournament. Both of these teams, as Kelly said, feel battle-tested to be here, both at large, out of their respective conferences. Let the madness begin from Durham, North Carolina. This first four matchup between Nebraska in white and Richmond in red. First shot of the game, no surprise there. Britt Prince takes it, makes it. Get you to our starting lineups brought to you by Capital One for the Richmond Spiders. A veteran group there who have come back strong, led by seniors Rachel Ulstrom and Maggie Dugan, along with Sam Dewey. That trio has stuck together and gotten this team to its third straight NCAA appearance. Spiders with 4 on the shot clock. Love to shoot the three. They're one of the best in the nation at doing so. Miss on that first attempt as you get a look at the starting five for Nebraska. We told you about Britt Prince. Amaya Hargrove, another sophomore, has really come on strong for this team. Callin Hake, the only senior in the lineup, starts him off with a three.
What a start for Nebraska offensively. Britt Prince has been able to do whatever she's wanted to get into the paint, make something happen. Mid-range on the first play, touches the paint, hits her shooter on the second play.
Number 44 in red is two-time A-10 Player of the Year, Maggie Dugan. 22 is Ulstrom, one of the top three-point shooters you're going to see in this tournament. Here is Dugan, knocks it down. Watch out, she sees that first one go through. Prince, just outside the top 10 in scoring in the Big Ten this season, averaging just about 17.5 per game. Turns it over here. Spiders on the run. Aaron Roussel, 7th season, two-time A-10 Coach of the Year, 7th season in charge of the Spiders. Amy Williams, well aware of that fact as she was getting her team ready, trying to figure out how to limit that number of triples from the Spiders tonight.
And Coach Roussel was telling us about his strategy from a scheduling standpoint to make sure Richmond had the best chance. Their net is 37 coming into this game. That's very good for a mid-major team. They played Texas, they played TCU, they played Fairfield, Green Bay, and the non-conference, and it paid off with an at-large bid.
Tucker Beaujean, the 6'3" sophomore, passes it off. Prince, as you said, having her way, so confident, has 4.
Britt Prince is a mid-range queen, okay? She loves the mid-range. She can get past almost anybody, and she has a really good feel of when to pull up and when to keep going and attack that paint.
Spiders looking inside. They get the basket from Ulstrom, her first points.
What a pass from Maggie Dugan, and we were able to talk to Dugan and Ulstrom today after shoot-around. Roommates, best friends, been at Richmond together for 4 years. Prince, the ball's been in her hand so much for Nebraska early. Richmond's got to find a way to get that ball out of her hands.
And certainly a focus for this team defensively as Allie Sweeney drives and scores.
It felt like both of these teams were a bit worn down towards the end of the season. They've played really tough schedules. You heard Coach Williams talk about that. But we're seeing a few rested teams tonight, Jen.
Newell takes it away for 2. Richmond, a 3-point lead. Good look inside. That post-to-post passing, working to perfection.
Amaya Hargrove has been fantastic for Nebraska as of late, and she's been able to move in the starting lineup earlier in this season, and she's made her mark inside.
Ulstrom coming up empty, her first couple three-point attempts. She's number 2 all-time in three-point makes in Richmond history, and there's again that great passing on the interior for Nebraska.
And Richmond is fronting Hargrove inside. That was Dugan fronting her, so help side's got to be there. Wright tried to come over for Richmond, but she was a step too late.
Rain Wright committing the foul for Richmond. Inbounding it here, number 1. Prince. Beautiful move, backdoor, 6 points for Britt Prince.
And what a play by Jessica Petrie, the junior. Got the defense off balance, drew it a bit, and a beautiful backdoor pass.
Quick response from Sweeney on the other end. Yeah, and great to see her back out there, number 21 in white. Didn't play the last 3 games after an ankle injury. in the game at Oregon in February. But that's a big get to get her back healthy for the postseason. Both teams shuffling some players around. Quick three from the corner, yes!
I love that blob. I love that baseline out of bounds play when the inbounder comes off of a screen and a quick DHO, dribble handoff. And Nisley ready to let it fly. That's her 61st made three on the year.
43% three-point shooter for the Callin Huskers. Tough drive to the basket. You can feel the confidence oozing from this veteran core that leads this Richmond team. They know they've left quite a legacy, and they're not done yet. Another three. Up and in. So far, it's been Nebraska knocking them down from deep. Spiders have gone over 2.5 minutes now without a bucket. Like to break that here before the quarter ends. Well, they continue to struggle from three. Going to hope to see those fall a little bit more, but right now, 5-point Nebraska lead.
What a shooting first quarter for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And it's always nerve-wracking when you are a mid-major and you don't win the conference tournament. And Richmond was not able to do that this year, but their resume and their net, it spoke for itself, and very deserving to get here in the big dance.
Richmond losing in the A-10 semifinals to George Mason. Rhode Island, the only other team from the A-10 in the tournament, the A-10 champs.
The A-10 is tough. You could argue George Mason should have been in this NCAA tournament.
Maggie Dugan, perhaps the most impressive of them all. Second straight year as the A-10 player of the year, but Nebraska, Kelly, you and I were talking about it in the break, doing a great job defensively on her so far.
She's converted. Nebraska's trying to keep her out of the paint and make threes. It opens things up around Dugan so she can get one-on-one matchups inside.
Spires 1 of 6 from three so far to start this game. Nebraska, meanwhile, hit 3 of their first 5 attempts from downtown. They'll try another, and why not see it go through? And Williams has gone to get treatment. We'll give you any updates as we get them. 5 on the shot clock for Richmond. Dugan was stuck, passes it off. Pull up in the paint is good from Manisha Scott.
That says so much. Minnesota out of the Big Ten. Nebraska's very familiar with them. Duke, the ACC champs. UCLA, LSU, those two played in last year's NCAA tournament in a great game. UCLA making the Final Four. And you got Ole Miss at the 5 seed. Ole Miss was a team contending for a top 4 all year long. This regional.
Hargrove at the free throw line for Nebraska. An 80% free throw shooter on the season, coming off a 23-point performance in her last game, excuse me. Well, Richmond needs to get their groove back on the offensive end of the floor. Off to a good start, but things have gotten progressively more difficult as this one has gone along. This player right here, a key part of getting this team going. Dugan is fouled. She will head to the free throw line. We're home for all the NCAA championships.
Looking to attack and looking to score. Once she gets a piece of the paint, looking to call her own number instead of kick it out. And that was something Erin Roussel was emphasizing for this Richmond team in practice. We've got to touch the paint. We've got to get in the paint so that we can either look to kick or score and put pressure on the Nebraska defense.
6 points in the game now for Dugan. As Nebraska gets 2 through Petra Bojan, their 6'3" sophomore from Croatia. Newell. No offensive rebound to be had. Prince, 6 points in the game for Nebraska. Just about everybody on the floor getting a touch. It winds up in the hands of Hargrove, who'll be headed back to the free throw line.
Got some depth in there with Hargrove now that Maupin's back in the lineup. Bojan, Petrie, and these post players continue to put a lot of pressure on Richmond.
Will start play in the round of 64 on Friday. Baylor taking on the winner of this game. And Hargrove, who just hit her 4th free throw of the game. Where's the struggle been on this end of the floor, Kelly, for Richmond? Not getting what they want. A little more of that, right? The cuts through the paint, the good look. Freshman Rain Wright able to capitalize.
And then Wright to finish at the rim.
Rain Wright, a 6-foot freshman from Midlothian, Virginia. Not too far from Richmond, local product.
And Richmond only about 2 hours away. I see quite a few Spider fans here. There's a lot of red between both teams, but Richmond and Nebraska with good crowds.
Another three goes through. That's the third of the night. You think Callin Hake, the senior, wants her season to keep going a little longer?
She's the heartbeat of this team, been described that way by her teammates. We could tell just talking to her after shoot-around, Jen. She wants this season to go on as long as possible.
Tara Simon, grad transfer from St. Louis.
Missed a few shots at the rim that could make this game feel a lot different right now.
Drive by Petrie, draws the foul. Petrie making a big jump in this, her junior season with the Cornhuskers. She's been in the starting lineup a number of times this season, but coming off the bench here in the NCAA tournament. And you have to figure, Kelly, Richmond has to figure out a way to get Dugan more touches, more involved in this offense.
I'd love to see them use her more in the pick and roll. Pick and roll, pick and pop. Get her the ball that way.
A few threes going through the net would also help the Spiders. There's a deep attempt from Sweeney. Second team All-A-10 selection knocks it down.
It's only a matter of time. When you're the 10th best shooting team from three in the country at 37%, you're going to see some go through the net. Let's see if Richmond can grab some momentum back from that.
Just a second made three by the Spiders. They're 2 of 9, and that's just too easy for Hake.
Help side has been a second slow for Richmond defensively, and Nebraska has made them pay.
Dugan fighting for the offensive rebound, putting Dugan on the free throw line. She's an 89% free throw shooter.
I mentioned in the open that Britt Prince was a 50-40-90 player. That's 50% from the field, 40% from three, 90% from the free throw line. Dugan is a 50-40-89 player. 4 total in the country, 2 in the tournament. And Dugan is so close.
One of the things you liked about both of these teams, efficient offenses. Those numbers tell the story. Their best players leading the way. Prince, tough drive. Nebraska's led by as many as 10. Richmond a chance to cut in a little bit more here. Just over a minute to go in the first half, and is it a foul? No, it is a foul call. Wasn't sure if it was going to be a jump ball.
I thought at first he was going to call a jump ball, but I do think there's excessive contact there where you need to call a foul. The contact from Fisher.
Emily Fisher, 6-foot junior transfer from Maryland in her first year with the Huskers. Called for that foul.
By unique, you mean terrifying?
Your adjective choice. It's fine.
But that's what you want in a mascot,
yes.
right?
And you want a close game in the NCAA tournament. That's what we've got. 4 points separating these first 4 teams in the first game. Nebraska looked comfortable for a while there with a double-digit lead. That has gotten quite small here as the seconds tick away, and there's
great defense inside on that play from Tierra Simon. Free throws for Richmond to continue to cut into this lead.
8 points in the game for Dugan. Has a chance to get to double digits. But pulling the Richmond Spiders within 2 with 33 seconds to go here in the first half. 6-0 run by the Spiders. Nebraska head coach Amy Williams talked about mind over matter, reminding her team that they were battle tested. They had come through the fire to get here to this NCAA tournament. Trying to make a statement. No friendly bounce on that three-point attempt. A battle for the rebound. Tie up the call. Richmond ball. Sweeney has it. Launches the three from the March Madness logo. We're not there yet, folks, but we have gotten the madness started.
And the Huskers 5 for 11 from 3 in the first half.
They'll hope to keep that hot shooting going in the second half as we get rolling. Nebraska in the white, Richmond in the red. Prince fouled, makes it anyway, and that is how your second half starts.
She looked kind of surprised that the ball went in. She knew she was fouled, but what a play by Britt Prince. We talk about how good she is in the mid-range. Gets that defender behind her, pulls up, finishes through contact. What a start for Nebraska.
9 points, in a game for Prince, who leads this Nebraska team in scoring, 17.5 per game on the season. All Big Ten second team selection this year. Sweeney, all the way in. Bojan over to Hake. Callin Hake, 8 points, 4 rebounds in that first half for the senior from Victoria, Minnesota. Everybody getting a touch on the perimeter. Prince turns around. An offensive rebound to Bojan.
So much support for their women's sports, volleyball, softball, you name it. Fans show up. Nebraska with excellent attendance to all their home games. She's left it out there on the floor for Nebraska in her 4 years.
Dugan passed it up. Had a three-point attempt. Spiders typically able to rely on that three to fall. It's not been that way tonight. It has fallen for Nebraska. Nisley knocks down her second of the game. Timeout on the floor. Back to a double-digit lead for the Huskers.
31% of matchups, the 11 seed beats the 6. And then I think star guards. I always lean towards teams that have a star guard in terms of advancing.
That is some great tips there as you get ready to fill out your bracket as a part of ESPN's Tournament Challenge. It closes Friday at 11:30 a.m. You can scan the QR code to fill out your Women's Tournament Challenge bracket. Get in on the fun.
Prince is an all Big Ten player, all Big Ten first team by the media. She's played well so far in this one, 9 points, 3 assists, and has come out ready to go in the third quarter, trying to get her team a big lead, and boom, right on cue, gets the steal and the score.
You ask, she answers. 11 points in the game for Prince. By the way, Hargrove just picked up her third foul, so that is something to keep an eye on for Nebraska. Another important part of this Cornhusker team. Has 8 points in the game.
Richmond 6 for 13 now at the rim. That's been an issue for them.
Hake gets it inside to Bojan. Efficient offense. Typically, that is what Richmond has been able to rely upon, but struggling from the three-point line specifically so far tonight, and just 14% there.
And it's not just the percentage, too, it's the attempts. Richmond averages nearly 30 attempts per game. They've only taken 14 threes.
Petrie now with 6, and it is a 14-0 run. Richmond's got to get going here after the break. They're still in the locker room. Right. Ball tapped around. Spiders still coming up empty. You figure you have a challenging season, you have to know how to withstand some runs, and right now Richmond stuck in one. As Nebraska going off, Prince with the triple.
What a start to this third quarter in this second half from Britt Prince.
Danger zone time for Richmond, and that is the way to claw yourself out of it. Go to your A-10 Player of the Year. Dugan's got a dozen.
17-0 run from Nebraska to start this second half. We've called a lot of games this year, Jen. I'm not sure I've seen that, especially coming out of the locker. Richmond has not been able to knock down threes in this game. So they're going to have to find their way back in this game through the three, Jen. I just don't see another way.
Kennedy Williams coming away with it. Hake drives the baseline. Three-pointer does go through for Callin Hake. Understand why this young woman has been such a key piece to this Nebraska team.
You could also tell when we talked with Hake and Britt Prince after shoot-around today how much Prince looks up to Hake. It felt like that almost mom figure on the team, someone who's a leader who everyone looks to lead them, and that's what you could see between Prince and Hake. It was cool to see. And I love, too, Jen, we have two teams here. The top four scorers on each team in this game have spent their whole careers at their respective schools. That is special and unique in this transfer portal era.
Absolutely. Speaks a lot to the culture that is brewing for both, and Callin Hake's big night continues for Nebraska.
She's feeling it. She's in that zone where you just feel like that ball is going to go in no matter where you shoot it, when you shoot it. It's like throwing a ball in the ocean.
Ava Perchetti.
To a lot of different places, tried to go to the Power 4 level, but she's so committed to Richmond, Coach Russell, and leaving a legacy at Richmond.
Prince leaving a legacy of her own for the school she grew up watching as a little girl. 17 points in the game, 11 of those since halftime, as Nebraska just blowing this thing open. 3 is an 11 seed, played in the first 4. They're the only first 4 team. This is the 5th year of having the first 4 that was able to make it to the round of 32. So they won their first game and then won the round of 60.
Got to be able to make a comeback here if they want to keep playing basketball. It's win or go home. It's March Madness. And they are in that final stretch.
To have her way, her mom, and in the stands, her high school coach loving it. 18 points for Prince, and an offensive foul whistled here.
Nebraska, in their notes, they keep charges. So Callin Hake has taken a Nebraska school record coming into this game, 31 charges this season. That's incredible.
If ever there was a hustle stat, and rebounding certainly comes to mind first, but the willingness to put your body on the floor and on the line for your team, take a charge, also right up there with it, and she can't be stopped. We have an early start.
That's a great point. I mean, Richmond has played all year knowing one loss could hurt them. One loss could, in some ways, knock them out of the NCAA tournament. And for Nebraska, but at the end of the season when they were struggling a bit, they needed wins, and that Washington win was huge. That win basically got them in the field and secured their spot. So they say pressure makes diamonds. Well, for Nebraska, it's working, because this offensive performance in the second half especially has been fantastic.
And 22 points in the game for Prince. Three-second violation.
Britt Prince super efficient. Hake knocking down shots. This has to be one of the best all-around games that we've seen from Nebraska this season, and what a time to be playing your best, Jen.
Well, one thing to keep an eye on as we finish this one out is how Nebraska finishes this game, because in the Big Ten tournament, that first-round loss against Indiana, they blew a 20-point first-half lead. Really fell off down the stretch in that one, so they have played so well to this point.
A week ago in Indianapolis, knowing you have to keep your foot on the gas, and especially against a team like Richmond. We've talked about it. When you can shoot the three, you're never fully out of a game.
Dugan pulls up for 2. There's Regional 2 Sacramento Field. They will take on the winner of this game on Friday here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Duke Blue Devils will also open up play in the tournament taking on College of Charleston. Match on Friday against Baylor. Good history between these two programs from when they were both a part of the Big 12. Has her 40th career game with 20 or more points tonight. 21 for Dugan in this one, and 9 of those, I trust my math, which typically I don't, coming in the fourth quarter. Newell's done this a couple of times, worked the defense. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Another three from the corner for Johnson, the sophomore transfer from Samford, who had only hit 8 threes all season long before coming in and hitting 2 in this fourth quarter.
It's so impressive because she sat on the bench, guys, for the last, hour and 45 minutes of real time, comes in off the bench and knocks down 2 threes like it's nothing.
That basket will count. There's Shanika Campbell.
Just the experience of not only playing in the NCAA tournament, but knowing what it takes to prepare in the tournament. Both these teams making their 3rd straight tournament appearances, and
Eliza Maupin getting a few more minutes. Didn't play all that much in the first half, just getting back to full strength after missing the last 3 games for Nebraska with an ankle injury. Well, Dugan making the most of her final appearance in a Richmond jersey. Join in the madness with the #1 bracket game. Men's game closes tomorrow at noon Eastern. Wednesday closes Friday morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, because we're playing more basketball here at Cameron Indoor Stadium to start off your round of 64. That'll be the Duke Blue Devils College of Charleston coming up on Friday here from Cameron Indoor, followed by the Baylor Bears taking on Nebraska, as Richmond is going to see some of their players come to the bench and give them a round of applause. What a career it has been for players like Maggie Dugan and Rachel Ulstrom. So much in that hug there with head coach Aaron Russell. 24 points for Dugan, not the way she wanted this night to go for her team, but we've talked a lot about her legacy. That will certainly be something valuable that she leaves behind for the Spiders.
And that's what college basketball is all about, that hug between Coach Russell and Maggie Dugan, the lifelong relationship, and all that Dugan has done for Richmond. But how about Nebraska? What a win, a dominant win in the first 4.